Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today we're going to try to get the Model A running again. I haven't had any trouble starting it since I've had it, but it doesn't want to stay running. Turns out that is a problem with the carburetor, and the carburetor is just flooding gas into the engine way too fast. Something's wrong with the float or the seals or something in that carburetor. So I tried to order a full rebuild kit for the carburetor. Everybody's sold out of full rebuild kits for this carburetor. Then I was gonna get a rebuilt carburetor. They said that they didn't have enough cores, so the only way I could get one of those is to send mine off, be about a month or so to get it back. So then I ordered a basic rebuild kit and thought maybe that'll get me by. It's a lot simpler project doing the basic rebuild as opposed to the full rebuild. Then I found a company that offers brand new carburetors, remanufactured for these older tractors. So I went that route. There's tons of information, but a little bit of it's conflicting as far as these carburetors. The one that's on there is a DLTX 18. According to serial numbers, I should have a DLTX 53. This company said to put this DLTX 71 on. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pull this carburetor off. It looks really simple. You've got 2 bolts here and 2 bolts here that hold the unit on. And then you've got your choke lever and your throttle lever that just have a little retaining pin and then they lift out. So, should be really easy to do. There's also this fuel line right here to remove. All 4 bolts and the gas line took the same wrench, which was a 9/16. And then I used a set of needle nose pliers for the retaining pins. So basically, I only needed 2 tools to do this whole job. There's a lot of work that needs done on this tractor, obviously, being 80 years old. And there's going to be a big learning curve for me as well. But I just want to work on one thing at a time, and step 1 was getting the fuel system in order so that I can start it and run it and check other things. For instance, the transmission fluid should be drained and replaced, because if it's gotten any water in that system, I don't want to do any damage by driving it around. But the next thing I'll probably focus on after that is the wheels and tires. These wheels are rusty, of course, but the tires are completely shot, and those need to be replaced before I drive it very much. While I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and clean up the wheels and get those repainted. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because this really was as simple as removing 4 bolts and 2 hairpins. Alright, so these 2 carburetors, one is labeled a DLTX 18, the other is DLTX 71. They look very similar. The housing shape is slightly different between them. There's a little bit more material in this raised section here that isn't on this one. Otherwise, they look about the same. So I'd be really surprised if this isn't going to work. And again, neither one of these is the one that's listed by serial number. It's listed a DLT 53, but this website sells this one as being compatible. I do notice that this fitting that came with it is apparently for a different type of fuel line. This is a deeper pocket for that fuel line to set down into, so I'm going to pull this one off and use it. I found in either the owner's manual or the service manual last night that this screw right here is your idle adjustment, and this is your fuel adjustment screw for when it's throttled up. And it says idle adjust right there on it, so you know which one is which without getting that manual out. And I'll just need to take the gasket. I think the gasket's stuck on here. The other gasket looks like it's stuck on the tractor. So I'll just have to take that gasket off that side and put the 2 new gaskets on. We should be up and running pretty quick. Alright, so I think I'll just clean these a little bit. I was going to get a wire brush on a drill, but honestly there's not that much on here. I think this scouring pad will do just fine. I initially thought that this might be a tight fit to get in there, but there's a rubber coupler on this intake, which allows this a lot of movement, which makes that a lot easier. I can shove that back, put the gasket in, get the bolts in. Put that through the gasket. And first bolt started. The bottom bolt's like a captive bolt because there's not enough room in between here and here. You can't take that bolt in and out without taking the bowl off the carburetor. Alright, now I've got enough wiggle to get all the bolts started. I think I'll tighten these down first. This is the control right here for the throttle. Just poke this pin through it and then bend it around. Okay, this right here is for the choke. Okay. We will okay. Now before I hook up this gas line, I'm going to put a little bit of gas in the tank and then open this and see if my fuel shutoff is actually working. Add a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil again. Alright, well, the fuel shutoff definitely seems to be working. Let's try turning it on. Yep. I wasn't sure, but now we know. All right, well, that's a first. We have fuel in it and it's not leaking anywhere. Try to choke it.
Yeah.
I believe when I stopped on the way back, I went on up to 4th gear. So all the different transmission ranges seem to be working fine. Alright, well, the fuel system seems to be working well now. I'm able to drive it around. That lets me go to the next step. I don't want to drive it very much until I change the transmission fluid and start checking out a few other things. There's a ton of play in the steering wheel. I want to look into whether or not I can take some of that play out with maybe a simple adjustment. So I'd say today was a success. I'm able to start the tractor pretty easily. I didn't cut out any cranks or anything. It started up pretty quick. So within a week, I'll be on to the next thing. Pretty soon I'm going to take the wheels off and get those cleaned up and painted and get some new tires on it. So anyway, I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. Just a minute, you'll see links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.